Alright, hello everybody and welcome to tonight's live stream of Anita Plays Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. I am Anita, as you might have guessed, and today we'll be playing episode 3 of this game series. Just a few pointers before we jump into the game. Channel points is a thing that has been launched on Twitch now, and you can use your channel points by clicking the little circle icon down in the chat. It's right there down in the corner on the left side. So you can use your points to ask me anything, but within reason. If you're being a creep, I will kick you or ban you or whatever. And you can also request a costume change, which means that I'll have to grab a wig or an accessory or a new shirt or something and put it on. It's just something we do for funsies. We also have one called Big Shot McFancy Pants, where you just spend 2,000 points just so you can be a Big Shot McFancy Pants. So that's a new thing on the channel. Those rewards are subject to change, but those are the ones I'm following today. Also, I would like to introduce you to our new sponsor. Yay! This channel is now officially sponsored by Ronin Energy Drinks, which is pretty amazing. They sent us 3 cases of their really refreshing, lovely energy drinks. So you can see we have featured their logo up there in the chat box. Hi, Inocervantes. Thank you for liking the stream. You can also find their logo beneath this stream, and if you click on the little banner thingy, you will be taken to their website where you can learn more about Ronin Energy Drinks Norway. That's all of the promo I'm going to be doing today, but thank you so much to Ronin for choosing to sponsor our little channel. We really appreciate it so much. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at the CosCast, or me personally at Anita Pixie Dust. And we also have a Discord, so if any of you lovely followers want to join us in Discord and just talk to each other or post cool things or get updates whenever we do new videos, make sure to apply for our Discord. That is also available below this video. Alright, so let's jump right into our vampire stream. This is episode 3 of the game. Frostheim says, hello everybody in the chat, and also has 780 points already. Wow, that's a lot. You've been watching. Alright, so I started a game with my Toreador named Vincent, and we're gonna continue where we left off, basically. Also, let me know if the music in the background is too loud at any point. If you're having trouble hearing me, then I will make sure to turn it down so it's a more pleasant listening experience for all of you. So let's jump into this, shall we? Come on. I'm excited. Also have a little bit of phlegm in my throat today for some reason, so bear with me. Okay, so in the last episode, we got some leads on some new potential friends or coterie mates, from our patron, Sophie. So we went to check up on Agathon and Hope. Agathon is a Tremere and Hope is a Malkavian. We also have some other interesting characters we can chat with. So let's just jump into it and go talk to... How about talking to a Nosferatu? Gumshoe in the Dark is the name of this quest. A recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir al-Azmai has a secret associate investigating the murders. A Nosferatu neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. So let's give that a go, shall we? As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame. Once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank. Forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to a mezzanine, most likely an office space, and then you see it. A faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. It's kind of funny that they've written with bated breath because if we're being honest, vampires don't really breathe, so there's that. But, I mean, I get what they're getting at. But it's a funny thing to remark. Frostheim says, I'm such a stalker. Well, you would be if we weren't friends to begin with, so, you know, there's that. Also, thank you to Maria Pedersen and Kristina Aukan who are watching the stream on Facebook. I really appreciate you guys dropping by. I will do my best to catch the chat or comments from both Facebook and Twitch all at once. So, I see you. Okay, let's continue. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, and paper scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly, it hits you, that nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. Let me guess. Took a wrong turn at the third silo. Okay, so we have three choices here. We can attempt to talk him down, we can rush him, or we can use presence and make him stand down. Nah, I'm not sure that presence is gonna work here, because he's older than we are, probably by quite some time. So let's try to talk him down, shall we, before we use powers. You decide to play along, raising your arm slowly. You weigh your next words carefully. You're pretty sure a bullet to the back wouldn't kill you, but it doesn't sound too pleasant either. Okay, so we'll try to be funny, you know, break the tension. You mean this isn't Bloodsuckers Anonymous? A noise rattles behind your head, like someone shook a can full of gravel. It might have been a chuckle, but your guess is as good as anyone's. Wise guy, huh? Luckily for you, I have a soft spot for wise guys, so I'll give you a chance to explain yourself. In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, for lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu? The way Sophie described them, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity. But this guy, the clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you. So, What brings you to my humble office? Well, we'll ask him if he's D'Angelo first. That seems like the right thing to do. You the one they call D'Angelo? That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out. My friends call me Jin, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. Now, I suggest you tell me what this is about. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office. We'll name drop Kadir. That seems safe. I can see why Kadir keeps you. Charming. I can see why Kadir keeps you around. His expression sours. Thank you, Marius, for liking the stream. I appreciate it so much. Frosthames says in the chat, yeah, always funny how people forget that vampires don't breathe. And like that time in Angel, when the vampire angel pants after chasing someone. Yeah, I know, right? It's funny. It's an easily forgettable detail. Alright, so back to D'Angelo. His expression sours. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. But hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however. I know, I'm here to help. The Red Hook murders. I know. I want to help you catch the killer. His moldy lips twist into a smile. Do you now? D'Angelo lowers his shades for a few seconds. He sits motionless with his eye fixed on yours. He raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then, he twirls it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced. A lot. In front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seem to care. What was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. What the hell, maybe this town finally got to me. He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. I'll offer him a light. I'll be polite. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lit lighter before his eyes. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look. Then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back to his lips. I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Tell you what. I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want to. I could use an assistant. Someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows? If you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement. You won't regret it, Vincent says. D'Angelo. Guess we'll find out. Just one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift. So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in layman's terms, who do you work for? Well, I'll just tell the truth. I can't be bothered lying. 'Cause he'll find out he's a Nosferatu. Who are we kidding? Frostheim says, sexy moldy lips. Oh yes, nothing as sexy as a pair of molded lips wrapped around a big cigarette. Ugh. Sophie Langley, we say. For the first time since you got there, the Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile. So you're the one, huh? The fledgling the Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being up front, kid. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you, up close. His smile is even more unnerving. D'Angelo. All right, moonlight's burning. Let's get crackin'. With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There is definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off of Van Brunt Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place. D'Angelo. Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him, drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me? You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera, and you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast, or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The blood speaks," in big, crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. The Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. Right. Well, the graffiti looks like a clue. We'll talk about that first. You point at the spray-painted sign. Vincent. That looks like a clue. D'Angelo. Sure, kid. Might as well start with the elephant in the room. What do you think it means? You give the sign a good hard look. It's no Rembrandt. The writing is jagged, clearly done in a hurry. It's meant to throw us off, maybe? Let's see. Nothing. It's meant to throw us off. Nah, D'Angelo. Nah, I can see why you'd think that, but look at how crooked the letters are. Barely legible. You can't fake something like that. Someone was very nervous, very scared. It definitely meant something to them. And then there's the blood, or lack thereof. And given that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that... well, probably the killer is kindred. Probably. So Vincent says the killer was kindred? D'Angelo, bingo. Only a kindred could drain a human this quickly, this quietly. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to? Ooh, that's, The blood speaks. It could be Thin Blood. It could be Malkavian. It could be Tremere. I mean, Tremere are very good with blood and all of that stuff. But I'm not sure they would be so open about it. Let's try Thin Blood. This has Thin Bloods written all over it. D'Angelo smiles approvingly. D'Angelo. In bright neon letters, a fully fledged kindred would use his powers to lure the victim somewhere out of sight, and they certainly wouldn't stick around for the shitty art project. He pauses, spits out the mangled remains of a cigar. Shit, looks like we're gonna have to pay Larsen a visit. The Thin Blood Primigid? Larson, the thin-blood primogen? D'Angelo. No, Larson, the bicycle repairman. Course, the thin-blood fucking primogen. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out one of his is violating the masquerade, it would put him in a hell of an awkward position. And I mean shitting upside down awkward. It's the kind of weakness the other primitive would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is. He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make out. Finally, he lights up a fresh cigar. He takes a puff and lets the smoke escape through his crooked smile. All right, kid, let's get this over with. Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It almost seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. This is the place. With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Okay, kid, we gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions. You rang, my lord, gentle. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know. Alright, so what's the plan? D'Angelo, tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit-up window seems like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention, his, and no one else's. As you're trying to come up with a viable strategy, you are suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from, as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. We'll throw a small rock at the window. You kneel down and pick a rock off the lawn, one small enough to not break glass, but big enough to get someone's attention. Deftly, you chuck the rock at the window. It bounces off the glass with a quiet but audible thunk. Moments pass in silence, making you think no one got your message. But as you start to look for another rock, you hear the window slide open. A very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck appears at the window. As soon as he notices you, his expression sours, like he just smelled something rotten. He addresses your Nosferatu partner in what could only be described as a very loud and very angry whisper. Robert Larson. Get the fuck off my lawn, D'Angelo. You know goddamn better than to show your ugly mug around here. You glance over to D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. We'll say this is important. Vincent. We wouldn't have bothered you if this wasn't important. Robert Larson. Vincent, stay where you are. You wait out in the lawn, listening to Larson quietly making his way downstairs. Before long, he appears on the porch, locking the front door behind him. He motions at you to follow him off to the side of the house. There, he turns towards you. Robert Larson, what do you want? D'Angelo. It's about the Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible. Robert. Bullshit. A Duskborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the masquerade? D'Angelo. Desperation. The killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together. Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching. Trying to find a scapegoat? Get in your boss's good graces? Word gets around, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you're working for? Well, we'll be diplomatic. It seems like the Toreador way to do it. Vincent. Then help us clear your people's name. What have you got to lose? Robert. Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. D'Angelo. What if it turns out one of yours did it and you sat on your hands to protect him? You think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh, once again with the breathing, but I get it, for dramatic effect. Robert. Look, I'll ask around, consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is. D'Angelo. Deal. Robert. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family. And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. You decide it's best to move along. You walk a couple of blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a backseat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. D'Angelo. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm in a tall, sweaty glass. But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own, but hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick from just any old dick. All in all, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me at the office. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you. And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. Alright, so that was our friend D'Angelo. Now, as you can see here, it's getting pretty late, close to dawn, so we better rest up, or else we'll be in trouble. So we're gonna go home and rest. So we're back at our apartment. Let's see. I'm just gonna take a little bit of a break so I can grab something to drink. This is a mojito flavored energy drink by Ronan. It's called unlife, and it's very different from any other energy drink I've ever had. It's very fresh and not super sweet, but also not super like acidic. I suppose that's the word you could use. So I'm liking this a lot. I really am. Frostheim says about D'Angelo, he was interesting and smelly, I presume. Yeah, he didn't really look like a guy who pays a lot of attention to his personal hygiene, does he? At least I don't think so. Alright, let's see. Let's return to the game, shall we? Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Gregory is Sophie Langley's driver, and Sophie is our patron. Gregory. Oh, we can finally see his face. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Do you know what she needs me for? Vincent, any idea what she needs me for? Gregory, I'm not in the position to ask. He smiles politely. The car is waiting. Shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave. Disappear. Let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the Anarch thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago, and that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked to one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it's been here before, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance, which soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. Sophie, you're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. Her driver leaves, and she turns her attention to you. Sophie, I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you. Vincent, thank you for coming. The change of the mood in the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. Sophie, I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue on the side of the apartment. You notice a plain-looking pendrive lying on the corner, right next to where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. The man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all around New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this memory stick and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They are encrypted, a precaution if the data fell into the wrong hands. But it won't, yes? She gives you a smile that just a handful of nights ago would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Vincent, Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I have gathered, him or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I am told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep your eyes open for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Anything more on Kaiser? Vincent, anything more you can tell me about Kaiser? Sophie, he's been here a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for trading information to both the Anarchs and the Camarilla before, but ultimately got away with it scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say it's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette, except his own. Good night, and good luck. And don't fuck it up. I had to. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the memory stick and head out towards Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant at this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There's plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would have been kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Okay. Asking around seems like a dumb idea. Searching for signs? I don't know. I think we'll try to use auspex and open our senses to try and sense something. You take a moment to focus and try to pick up any details that would help you with locating Kaiser. Initially, the noise of the nearby amusement park floods your mind and stuns you momentarily. A child's crying, the loud bang of a car door closing, the bright old-school logo of the Cyclone roller coaster all overload your senses, and you have to lean on a nearby booth to stay upright. You get it under control, start walking, listening in, taking in the smells and sights, looking for something, anything, to point you in the right direction. A man talking on his phone, a snippet of the conversation. Clean the red stuff from the garage. Tied it up in general. The limo will fit, for sure. Come on, don't be like that, boss. I didn't mean to. Yes, I know. It's a privilege, Mr. K, sir. The call ends. The man tucks the phone away. It's a fancy model. Doesn't look like anything readily available in the market and doesn't fit the guy's rugged looks at all. He notices you. Stranger. Hey, what you looking at, huh? I'll just be like, you're just the guy I was looking for. We have to be subtle here, right? Vincent. Looks like you're just the guy I was looking for. Care to call your boss again for me? Stranger. Huh? No, I think you've heard wrong. Piss off. I'll tell him Sophie sent me. Listen, I was sent here by Sophie Langley. She has something for Kaiser. I need to contact him and pass it on. Nothing more to it. Stranger. Don't know her, and I told you already. I don't know who Kaiser is either. He sees the doubt in your face. Stranger. Fuck it. Stay right there. He produces his phone. It is a fancy model. Doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. Unlocks it. Picks a number. 2 tones go by. A voice on the other side. Stranger. Sorry to bother you again, boss. Yeah, I know how much you need your alone time. That sounds very nice. There's somebody here who wants to see you. They're with Langley? Sophie Langley? Yeah. A string of loud obscenities fill the phone. The man winces and pushes it away from his ear, and then the call stops. Almost immediately, a chime. The Count's laugh from Sesame Street, wow, announces an instant message sent to the phone. Stranger. He's, on his way. Don't go anywhere. The inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but it has none of that currently. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. Yeah, that's not creepy. Dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera, footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session. You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything when surrounded by all of this visual noise, and then realize there's nobody there. Or is there? He blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% sure. That's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimmed computer screen lights, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, severed flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. The doors close behind you. Kaiser. Oh yeah, no kidding. This guy looks like some evil doctor back in 1940 something. That's a look. Okay, so Kaiser. So, that waste of good vitae outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, huh? You've got something for me? You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port in the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happen to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data. He sounds nice and sexy, yes. Totally. Very much my type. Kaiser, who do you people think I am? I've seen this footage a week ago. He plugs the pen drive out and throws it back at you in disgust. Kaiser, tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address. She gives me something else. Alright, I am not... I guess I can't choose this? No, I can't ask him how I can make it up to him. I don't think I can use presents on this guy. I think that would be badly received. I'll ask him to give me a break. Vincent. Come on, give me a break. How could we have known you've already seen this material? He gives you a patronizing look. Kaiser. Kid, you're new here, so I'll pretend I haven't heard that. You want your address? You're going to have to work for it. I got just the idea. Yeah, something appropriate for an eager fledgling like yourself. More on that soon. Stay tuned. Now, get the fuck out. You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide by you, and soon the limo is on its way out. Let's see what the chat is saying. Frostheim says he looks like he is related to the brain in Ninja Turtles. Yeah, give me a break, is what she says too. That was the option we went for. Let's see. Well, Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. So it's the middle of the night. We still have some time. We could drop by one of our newfound friends. Who is this again? Faith and Myth Part 1. Yes, we've received an invitation to meet a mysterious someone at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. That might be interesting. Sounds like a trap if you ask me, but... hey, I'm just a dumb fledgling, so what do I know? Alright. You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire. Or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. Thank you, Jeanette, for liking the stream. I appreciate it. Alright. Yeah, you've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. Frostheim's wanted me to go with the Malkavian. Well, it's too late now, but I'll do her afterward. She's fun. You've learned the essential of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire: how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. Religion is superstition. Vampires are satanic creatures. Does God still listen to you? Alright, so I'm gonna turn this over to the chat. What do you guys want me to answer to this specific question? I will give you some time to write down your replies while I have a quick drink. I hope this didn't fuck up my lipstick. It's been a long day. I have been up since 6 o'clock this morning because I had to drop my hubby to work because I needed the car and yada yada, and I hadn't been sleeping all night because for some reason I couldn't sleep, and that was just ugh. So understandably, I am tired. Alright, so Frost Times has answered in the chat, and she says, does God still listen to you? So we'll knock on that one. It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in the cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor, and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and a simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expected something like this as a vampire walking into a cathedral, only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest. Ugh, he doesn't look kind at all. What are they on? He looks creepy. Welcome, child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. You know what? I think we're just gonna run away, because this seems terrifying to me. Or am I being a big scaredy cat? I mean, that's up to you, really. Yeah, Frost Times, I know. He looks like a serial killer. Seriously, he reminds me of that one guy from Dexter. That was supposed to be like a good guy and was helpful to everybody else around him, but really he was a serial killer. That's the vibe he's giving me. He's creepy and I don't like it. Frostheim says, that priest is a serial killer! Run! Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna run away. The man is looking straight into your soul. You turn and run the way you came, stumbling out of the cathedral. You emerge outside, confused and scared. What was that? At least you escaped unharmed. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, the same as every night. Stranger, How did it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well dressed, if a little archaic, dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. We'll just ask, did you do this to me? Yeah. Did you do this to me? Stranger. No, absolutely not. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. Benoit offers his hand to you. I think we'll use auspex here. We shake hands and I use my vampiric senses. That seems like a good way. Frost Times is commenting some more in the chat. Or old Ted Bundy. Yikes. Yeah, he could be an old Ted Bundy. Do vampires have souls? I guess the stranger is a vampire. Duh. Yeah, he probably is. Benoit is a vampire. That much is clear. You were right. He is using his blood to simulate the functions of a living body, but the rhythm of his heartbeat reveals its artificial nature. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? Benoit points to a park bench nearby in darkness because of a broken streetlight. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. Benoit sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. Benoit, I know how it feels. What you just felt. I have experienced it myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. Alright, why did you invite me? That's what I want to know. Vincent, what's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? Benoit, we share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? It was the priest. Vincent, at first I thought it was because I was in a church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest. Benoit, I think you're right. It does come from him. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief, while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? I'm giving him some kind of accent here. Don't know if it's working, but I'm having fun with it, so. You stop to think. Of course you've wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps you. You can't. The masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move. I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? I'm not sure I like any of these answers. Let me go. No, can't be. There's a natural explanation. Well. Rostam says, the priest is the murderer. Case solved. Yes, very, very, very easily solved. He probably like a Society of Leopold dude, if you know, we can count on that. All right. We'll go with, there's a natural explanation. Vincent. Whoa, I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all of this. We just don't know it. Benoit. Maybe there is. I don't know either. But I know that Father Anthony's fate is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about fate and our kind. Yeah, what are we? We're a very simple, straightforward kind of soul. So Vincent says, yes, what are we? Benoit. There is the usual story, which most of us believed, especially before modern times. Cain was the first murderer. As punishment, God cursed him to walk in darkness and carry his mark. Cain passed on his curse as he drank the blood of the living, and thus we were born. God's curse passed on to someone new with each embrace. Maybe it's true. We all have our lineages, our sires, and the sires of our sires. If you trace those lineages all the way to the top, you find Cain, the original vampire. I suppose God is cruel. The curse perpetuates itself, leading to new evils. Spawn of Satan! Yes, I guess that's what we are. Frostem says, be right back. I need some fresh air. That's fine. You just take your time. I will be right here. And on that note, actually, I think it's time we take a teeny tiny break. So that I can drink and just chill a little bit. So I will put on some commercials for you, and I'll be back in a little while. Alright, we are back again after a little break. Hope you guys are still here and still watching. And at any point in time, if there's anything you're wondering, please just drop a line in the chat. And I will do my best to reply in a timely fashion. Alright, so let's continue playing our vampire story, shall we? So, the last thing Benoit says was, I suppose God is cruel. The curse perpetuates itself, leading to new evils. And we say that this is a lot to take in, man. Vincent. This is a lot to take in. All these myths, hard to know what to believe. Benoit. I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside of them. This is too much. Vincent, this is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity? Benoit nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through. You leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. But what does that mean? Right, so we have to rest. So we're gonna have to do that. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In New York City, there are plenty of passers-by going about their business. Yeah, we hungry. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible. indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Well, except for the Nosferatu, that is. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car ordinary cops or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you've felt like this. Following the cue of so many mortals around you, you stop at a street corner to casually survey your surroundings as if you were trying to remember which turn to take. You look around ostensibly at street signs, but in reality, to see if someone really is following you. Down the street where you came from, a crowd of young drunk men argue loudly about baseball. There's an indistinct figure standing behind them, almost impossible to notice. A woman, probably. The men unconsciously move around her as they start to walk away, still mouthing off at each other. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. Yeah, we're gonna have to feed. Because we got blood in the lower corner here, that means that we're getting very, very hungry, and we might frenzy if we don't get some food at some point. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey, whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. His hands are out of his pockets, and he seems pretty relaxed. He's keeping his eyes on the street, though, as if making sure you're alone. He smiles awkwardly when you approach. Evening. Got something for you from our mutual friend. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, then give it back here. It's a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, Time to square the debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro. I am not going to remember that, so if the game asks me to remember this at a certain point in time, I'm going to write this down. Because I am paranoid like that. Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro. There. Just in case. Just to be sure. Sometimes these games do these things to you, and my short-term memory is crap. Alright. When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a fidel servitore de la familia G. Those exact fucking words, and make sure you get the G right. Okay? Servitore de la familia. It's probably Giovanni's. That makes sense, because the Giovannis have this big G in their symbol. So I'm guessing it has something to do with them. Maybe we're stealing from the Giovanni. That would be terrifying. Frostim says, that Benoit is a religious nut. Yeah, he seemed like it. And man, I wanted to visit that Malkavian. She's fun. Yes, she is fun. But we didn't get the choice, unfortunately. But we will get to her. Eventually. You'll get a bottle. Just take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let him know. Jackie, you done? Memorize that shit and hand it over. I'll be like, didn't think your boss was a letter guy. Didn't think your boys for a letter kind of guy. Isn't electronic communication his whole shtick? Jackie, yeah, well, some things are better done the old-fashioned way. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases mentioned in the letter and the address, then hand the letter back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and burns it, putting out the ashes with his boot. No evidence. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. Jackie, I'll be in that alley over there, so find me when you have the item, whatever it is. I don't know, and the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead in the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting the local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Curiouser and curiouser. Inside, a small, middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of an entire wall of wine bottles. There's a door at the end of the room with a small table and a chair occupied by a man with slick-combed back hair, who's dressed in a black faux leather jacket. He is reading a newspaper, but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small steaming cup, then gets back to his broadsheet. Proprietor. Good evening. How can I help? I will be direct, I suppose. No nonsense, just what it says on the note. Vincent, I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro, please. Proprietor, let me check our stock. She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. Sorry. I will casually recite the phrase, or recite the phrase straight and simple. I think casually is less suspicious, so we're gonna try to be casual about it. Or well, he did say specifically what it said on the note. So if we do it straight and simple, this is hard. I'm overthinking it and overanalyzing it, and I'm getting in my own head, and I'm like, help! This is a tough choice. What am I gonna do? Help! 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 I don't want to fuck up and put, myself and Sophie in danger by making the wrong choice. What's a girl to do? Okay. Frostheims says 3. So recite the phrase and reassure her. And breathe, girl. Yeah, I know. I psyched myself out. But the thing is, with number 3 is that it's like extra talking. Like, the reassurance, he said just follow the things on the note specifically. And don't say anything else. Just get out. So that's what makes me a little nervous about choosing the right one. Oh. Choices. I hate making choices. I'm gonna go with my gut feeling and do number 2, even though you suggested number 3. I have to. No, then do 1. Okay. We'll do number 1. Vincent, I am a fedele servitore della famiglia G. Proprietor. In that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup. washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. Remain silent and wait. Yeah, we're not going to talk or do anything. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter, and you just keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open, and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologizing smile. Proprietor, scusi, sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle, and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it. Proprietor, you do know what this is, don't you? Presents. I'll be taking this. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that it's wine. You focus your blood and you immediately see both of the people in the shop focus intently on you and what you're about to say. Vincent, I know exactly what this is, and I am the right person to give it to. The woman gives you the bottle without hesitation. Grazie. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but finally you get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He is not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Jackie, got the goods? Sure do. Cool, stand by. Gotta make the call. He takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carry the last time. Grazie, bitch! Yeah, grazie. He takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carry the last time. Jackie, hey boss. Yeah, they have it. Where do I point him to? Okay? Yeah, I'll tell him to go there right away. He puts the phone back inside his pocket and turns back to you. Jackie, Willett's Point, half an hour, so you better step on it. See ya around. With just a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Willett's Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. Frostheim says that he should see a skin doctor or something, that Jackie guy. He has very bad acne. Yes, he does. Doesn't look like he's a very healthy kind of guy. But then again, he hangs around with Nosferatus, so I guess that's just part of the shtick, I suppose. Okay. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the potholes are going to kill your chassis. You step out into one of those gashes in the asphalt, splashing the ankle-deep water. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman who's just locking the place up. Yeah, we need to feed if the street is empty, and yeah, we have the opportunity. I need food. This is too perfect of an opportunity to not take advantage of. She's walking to her car, ready to call it a night, when you sneak up on her. She's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. You can taste the caffeine in her veins, smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair, the old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out. Your assault, the closing note of a long day at work. You let her down gently and feel a pang of remorse. You pick up the car keys she dropped and place her in the driver's seat. She'll find an explanation for passing out like this, for sure. The bright lights of a car pulling up down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Kaiser is finally here, it would seem. Same as last time, the car doors open, but nobody comes out. You know the drill. This time, Kaiser is visible the first time you look inside. You sit down and close the door behind you. Yeah, that lady sounds like a disgusting fast food meal. Caffeine and cooking grease and cigarettes. It doesn't sound like, you know, the most delightful of meals, but hey, it's better than nothing. Let's see. So, same as last time, the car doors open, but nobody comes out. Yeah, oh, I already read that. Closes the door behind me. So, Kaiser, so you pulled it off without a hitch, then give it here. You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. He uncorks it gently, takes a whiff, and puts the cork back in. Kaiser, yeah, that's the stuff. See, that wasn't so hard. Consider your debt paid. Oh, yeah, and also, have this. It's what Langley wanted. He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. We're not gonna push our luck. We're just gonna say thank you and leave, because this guy is creepy. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. Kaiser, yeah, I'll send Jackie over if I ever need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now. So suddenly we were everybody's errand boy just because we're new? God damn it, Sophie. He waves you out of the car. With the envelope in hand, you get out back onto the torn asphalt and decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. He's the man from the Elysium, the one with the glasses and a good taste in suits. You haven't had the chance to talk to him last you saw him. Sophie. Ah, Vincent, so glad to see you. Tell me, did the two of you meet before? The man doesn't wait for you to answer. He approaches you with an energetic, almost dance-like step. Puts his hand out. Thomas Arturo. I heard about you. Pleasure. Sophie. Thomas is a great source of gossip and an excellent conversationalist. Thomas. I also have the prince's ear, which is the primary reason Miss Langley wished to speak to me tonight. Good gossip, even coming from me, isn't nearly as valued. Sad. Sophie's taken aback by the man's direct comment, but smiles politely. The awkward atmosphere is broken again by the guest's grating laugh. Don't like this guy already. Thomas. I joke, of course. I joke. Well, I was about to leave anyway, so I'll leave you two to it. Good night, Sophie. Vincent. Greggy boy. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The doors close. He's a creep. I don't like him. Vincent. That guy's a creep. Sophie. I wouldn't be so harsh, fledgling, but it does take some getting used to. Certainly. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for? We're just going to be honest and say that we had to do another job for him. Vincent. Yes, I have it, but the data you offered was old news to him. I had to do another job for him before he gave me this card. She retrieves the envelope from you. Sophie. I'm sure he did. I do hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. Well, I'm curious to see if she knows what this bottle thing is, so we'll say that. Vincent. He made me go on an entire separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Olita, I had to use code phrases and whatnot. Sophie. Wine shop? Code phrases? That degenerate pest. She's visibly agitated, but calms down and smiles at you. So she didn't know about this. Good to know. Sophie. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw in Kaiser's note from before, but can't see the details. Her eyes widen. Sophie. Yes. Excellent. I need to call on some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear charge. I will contact you soon. With that, Sophie ushers you outside, and you are left to do with the rest of this night's hours as you like. Alright, so we're halfway through the night. So, I know Frosthames wanted to go check in on the Malkavian Hope, so we are going to do that because we gotta do what faithful viewers want us to do. Frostheim says, lol, I have like 1.4k points. I'm point rich. Whoops. I guess you are. Let's see. Wolf in my house. Wolf? Wolf in your house? What? What's going on? Anyway, yes, Hope. The other side of Hope. Hope is about to head out into the city, accompany her and see her true face. I don't know if we, if we can stand seeing Hope's true face, because she's scary and fun all at once. So, let's just do that. Alright. When you get to the internet cafe, Hope is already waiting on the street. The sight catches you off guard. A part of you suspected she might be more of a shut-in. My haven is my castle type. Hope. Perfect timing. We need to go for a ride. Get in, get in, get in! She doesn't wait for your response and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. The engine starts roaring expectantly, causing everyone's head to turn. Not wanting to attract needless attention, you quickly slip into the backseat of the car. The moment you shut the door behind you, the vehicle sets off, tires screeching. Hope. Sorry for not bringing you up to speed first, but hey, this is NYC. Everyone's always in a rush, and this is even more true when you're kindred. Now, allow me to take care of some business, and I'll be right there with you. Even as she's zooming past the traffic, she's still on her phone, of course. Nice car, I guess. This is a very weird car. Vincent, nice car. How do you afford that? At vroom vroom beep beep. Thank you. The lavender really brings out its character, doesn't it? This is a very cute car. Busy work. About affording things in the city, it's pretty hard. You gotta be at the top of your game at all times. Might as well explain my business plan to you while I'm at it. So, another extremely online Malk based in New York, goes by the name of Dev Null, told me to Google Ethereum a few years ago. That way, I got into Bitcoin. And I found a new religion, 23-year-old selling visions of governments replaced by benign code and decentralized consensus. Masses ruled by algorithms as just as the laws of physics. Idiot man-child investors trying to shape their reality through sheer fanatical zeal and dedicated collectors of something as abstract as rare SHA-256 decryptions. Her driving style is far more aggressive and dangerous than you're comfortable with. Is it just you, or does she peek into the rearview mirror more often than she looks straight ahead? Hope. A hyper-speculative environment where nothing has real value, only abstract beliefs matter, and your life savings can be ruined by a single bullshit tweet. How could I refuse the allure? Hope. I've started buying low and selling high on a variety of shady 24/7 exchanges that allowed me for 100 times leverage. As in, they'd lend me 100 times the capital I could bet with. I got lucky at the beginning and kept the ball rolling, shorting and longing, impulsively, recklessly. I got to the point where I became too big to fall, and that's when I cashed out. The car comes to an abrupt halt. You bump up against the seat in front of you. Okay, this story will be continued later. We're here right at our first stop. I'll need you to do me a favor. What favor? Hope. Nothing too difficult. Literally a jump out, jump in kind of deal. See that weird guy in a Yankees full cap standing around the corner? Approach him, tell him you're young, hot, petite ingenue. Yeah, young, hot, petite ingenue. Take a phone he gives you and bring it here. Get going, honey. It's illegal to park here. You jump out of the car and approach the man Hope has pointed out. Not a lot you can tell about him based on his appearance, aside from the fact he seems pretty shady. The guy assumes a comically threatening pose as you approach him. Shady guy. The hell do you want? I'm at young, hot, petite ingenue. Shady guy. Oh, no offense, but I kinda expected a girl. I mean, no, yeah, my bad for assuming. Damn. He takes the phone out of his pocket and covertly passes it to you. Ugh, my nose is runny. Okay, shady guy. Everything has been prepared and preloaded according to your instructions. Should take about 2 minutes to transfer the data. Now get out of here. The man walks away with an exaggerated hip-hop gait. You hop back into Hope's car. She immediately steps on the gas pedal. Hope. You got the phone? You're the best. Pass it to me, please. She connects the two smartphones using a cable and begins some sort of data transfer. Looks like it's an identical model. After a minute or so, the process is complete. Hope. Alright, goodbye, lovely. You've served me well. Hope opens the car window, grabs her old phone. You're not an expert to recognize the exact model, but it definitely looks like it had an $800 price slapped on it, and tosses it out the window. Apparently, tosses is a very hard word for me to say. Surprised, you look behind you and see a car in the opposite lane running over the abandoned device. Hope notices your quizzical look. Hope. I've been needing a lot of burner phones lately, and I'm not going to use some cheap piece of shit, so it's an pretty expensive necessity. Crossroads red light. She takes an advantage of the moment to shoot a driving selfie that strategically excludes her face and uploads it to Instagram. You notice her handle there is Versace Beauty. That sounds like a drag queen reference. Now, I was telling you a story. Cashing out. Yeah. Right. At some point towards the end of 2017, I became convinced I need to cash out. There was no way the bubble was going to last forever. I always knew there would be no grapes of wrath for the cryptocurrency era. It would have to be a series of profoundly antisocial, disconnected events. The whole crypto culture was a decentralized church of lone millennials who rejected all established modern values and kept atoning for the original sin of not buying Bitcoin back in 2013. Another abrupt last-second turn. You get pressed against the window. What the hell is it with her driving style? Hope. Bet a life you've never wanted to live anyway and get a chance to win a priceless pile of nothing. Untether yourself from all worldly desires. Find joy in suicidal ideation. To this day, money holds no real value to me. It's as abstract as a video game score. A bunch of numbers on the screen. This joyless world changed me forever. I knew I had to escape. So, I took my piles of fictional dollars to a new arena. Elite NYC social circles. Not because I wanted to scam them and make more, but because I wanted to finally have some goddamn fun. I mean, of course I had to scam them in the process, but it was only in service of becoming something more than a star. A constellation. Another abrupt stop, this time next to the entrance to a shifty-looking back alley. Alright, friend, this time you're leaky gut syndrome. Whistleblower extraordinaire. Whenever a press sneak fuck wants a leak, you've got it. Got it? Sorry for putting you out there in my place, but I only personally contact people as a last resort. Gets harder to protect my identity each time I show my face out there. And since I've got you, our man is waiting for you in this back alley. He's paying back a favor with a pen drive containing crucial information we need to stay safe in this city. Retrieve it. I will be circling around the area. Make sure we aren't in danger right now. When you're done, get back here and I'll pick you up. Everything clear? Good. You exit the car and see it drive away in a hurry, then head into the narrow passageway. Sure enough, there's a man waiting for you at the end of the back street, unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes with a nervous eye tick. He looks even dodgier than the last guy you've met. When you approach, he gives you a mean look. Shady journalist. You lost or something? Well, I'm leaky gut syndrome. Vincent, I'm at leaky gut syndrome. You said you got a little something that might interest me. Shady journalist. Of course. Straight to the point, are you? Alright then. Frostham says, are we the favor fairy or something? Yeah, it seems like we are. People keep taking advantage of us all the time. I mean, we let them take advantage of us, obviously, because we're running around doing favors for everybody, but hey. Alright. Clumsily, he produces a USB stick out of his front shirt pocket and holds it before your face. When you reach out to take it, he pulls his hand back and gives you a sly grin. Shady journalist. Getting all this data was risky, you know. Miss Montgomery is an unusually secretive person. Digging up dirt on her took more effort than I expected. Effort that should be rewarded, I think. Oh, this guy. The more you ask around about her, the more you expect a letter saying give up your inquiries which are completely useless at your doorstep. Maybe attached to a severed cat head. You catch my drift? The secrecy that surrounds her screams friends in high places. Brave New World Order, Illuminati shit, you know? Makes me think I deserve some hazard pay. What do we do here? We can refuse and bluff. We can agree, or we can start. I don't have any money, so I guess we're gonna refuse and bluff. Seems like a good. Vincent, I've ran a background check on you. You're not just some random schmuck off the street. No way you didn't know what you were walking into when you took on this job. And if you really didn't, I doubt you're the kind of journalist who can gather intel worth shit. You're bluffing the hell out of him, unsure if it's going to work. It does. The man spits on the ground angrily and raises his hands in surrender. Alright, I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. My bad, okay? He extends the hand, holding a pen drive towards you again. You take it. Hey, we did it. Shady journalist. Oh yeah, one more thing. Not really sure what that's about, but one of my informants claims you might be interested in this. He reaches to his inner jacket pocket and presents you with something wholly unexpected. It's a bag of blood, labeled simply as ABRH negative. You give it a closer look, but that doesn't answer any questions that just appeared in your mind. You peek into the journalist's cold blue eyes and see them twitch uncontrollably. Shady journalist. Don't ask me, they said you'll know what to do with it. Leaky gut. Come on, take it. Ooh. Well, I'm not going to drink it. I don't think. Or, well, I could feed on this guy. Seems kind of like a trap. And then I don't want to ruin her contacts. So I'm just gonna refuse the blood, because this seems a bit tricksy. Vincent, keep it. I have no idea what that informant is, but they've been feeding you bullshit, buddy. Shady journalist, yeah, I don't think so. Another eye twitch and an awkward silence. You give the blood bag one last glance and leave the alleyway you came from. Hope's car appears behind the corner just as you walk out to the street. It doesn't even fully stop when you approach, but slows down just enough so that you can jump in. The moment you close the door, she presses into the gas pedal with her full strength, causing the engine to roar. Her driving style definitely doesn't reflect how laid back she seems as a person. You throw the pen drive on the seat next to her. Leaky gut syndrome. Perfect! Any problems? How did the meeting go? Ah, right. Right, Wolf. I got you, girl. You relate the entire back alley encounter to her. Towards the end of the story, you notice she's not staring at the road or her phone, but directly at your face. The realization startles you. You've got that bag of blood with you? Vincent, left it with him. Felt fishy somehow. Huh. Anything particular about it? Vincent, nothing. Just a label saying AB rhesus negative. She steps on the brakes. Fuck! Fuck, 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 fuck! I'm okay. She grabs the pen drive you've obtained and throws it out of the window. Looks like that's her favorite method of taking care of problems. That bag was a message. AB negative used to be my blood type. It's the rarest one, found in less than 1% of the United States population. Glad you haven't drank it? Who knows what they've done to the bag? Some NYC vets can tell you wild stories about using irradiated blood to locate and kill other kindred. Vincent, seriously? Glad I haven't drank from him. Hope. Better safe than sorry, yeah. Still, I wonder if they could have done anything to his blood. That would be some kind of 5-dimensional chess move. But yeah, this contact is compromised and needs to be cut off. Goodbye, my journalist frenemy, and goodbye, dear leaky gut syndrome. You've both outlived your usefulness. Well, say my instincts were on the nose. After a brief period of hesitation, she deletes the whistleblower extraordinaire account and sighs. Another one bites the dust. Admit it? Keep quiet? I'll just keep quiet. You decide against telling her that. She's got enough stuff on her plate tonight, and you're strangely confident that you're never going to meet that journo again. Hope. Besides, I've got another story to finish. I was talking about Bitcoin, and then where did I stop? Constellation, that's where she stopped. Vincent. Becoming a constellation. Hope. Oh, right. You know who saw the real face of this city? Anna Delvey. Ever heard of her? A Russian working-class girl, born as Anna Sorokin. She moved to New York in 2013 and convinced everyone she's this insanely rich trust fund kid, a wealthy German heiress. Manhattan elites totally fell for it, and they kept buying it for years while she kept swindling them. She only got arrested in 2017 after having stolen almost $300,000. Sorokin created her Delvey persona out of thin air, convinced everyone she was going to set up an art fund, and kept tasting all of life's finest pleasures while being basically broke. She even made up a fake family financial advisor, then killed him off when he became a liability. And apparently most of her rich victims never admitted to being scammed out of shame. By now you're sure, the way she scrutinizes her surrounding, her reckless driving, she's trying to escape somebody. Hope. Now Delvey's locked up with murderers and Rikers, writing down her memoirs, apparently picking a lot of fights. God bless her heart. She'll forever be an inspiration. But I have more advantages than she ever did. I have my own considerable funds, and I can rely on many more made-up people than just some old-ass financial advisor. A whole bunch of fake content creators and influencers that every rich dumbass wants to get in touch with and collaborate. Makes it super easy to get more money than I invest. You've seen it firsthand, both as a deceiver and the deceived. It's a city of illusions. Make non-existent money, come up with a fictional status, play nonsensical Camarilla games. And one day, you might just find yourself at the top. Alright, we're reaching our last stop. You look around. You're coming up on a parking garage. Hope, you're going to take an elevator to the 70th floor. Give the masked man you meet in front of the door this memory card. It contains an art house movie I have made. You mean a vampire movie? Vincent, by art house, you mean vampire movie. Yes, a movie you've seen me rehearsing in my haven. You didn't think I was doing that just for show, did you? I found some filthy rich Manhattan pervs who'd pay a fortune for a convincing vampire camp show. I don't need money, but their IT industry connections give me an idea. When we give them this memory card, we'll get access to tech that should allow us to take on my biggest enemy in the city. So your nickname this time is going to be... a crash. You're momentarily dazed and can't immediately understand what happened. The first thing you know for sure is, if you were still a normal human being, you'd be dead for sure. You replay the last few seconds in your head. The other car appeared out of nowhere and crashed into Hope's vehicle at the maximum speed it was able to achieve in this closed-off space. Geez, things are really taking a turn here, aren't they? The driver has already managed to kick out the mangled door next to him and stumbled out of his seat. Now, he wordlessly approaches the trunk and takes a large caliber silenced pistol out of it. Oh dear. He starts approaching the lavender wreck of Hope's car, obviously ready to finish the job he started. You have to be fast and violent. It's you or him now. Alright, we'll attack this guy. Your instincts take over. You don't come up with a strategy or come up with an optimal route. You simply start running towards the gunman, yelling. For a split second, he's completely dumbfounded. Then he opens fire. The bullets put a brief stop to your sprint. You're engulfed in pain, your flesh and clothes being shredded to bits. But when his magazine runs out, you're still standing and still determined to move forward. He tries to act as quick as possible, but he can't reload his weapon before you get to him. A tackle, a primal scream. Left punch, right punch, left punch, right punch. You return his cruelty tenfold to his face. When you're done, the head is barely recognizable as human. You stand up above the gunman's body, trying to calm yourself and your killer instincts. That's when you hear her voice. Hope. Ugh. Hope slithers out of her car and sees you standing over your assailant. Ha! You did pretty good. She approaches the body of the driver you killed and kicks it so she can take a better look at it. Upon seeing the front of the corpse, she lets out an annoyed grunt. Hope. I knew it would be this asshole. He's been following us all day, and I know just who he belongs to. Even before she's done talking, she's already trying to reach someone through a video call. Eventually, she succeeds. You see a nonchalant woman in a business casual clothes on her smartphone screen. Kara. Kara Montgomery, how can I help you? Hope. Kara? Hope. Kara. Hope, didn't expect you to ever reach me through this channel. Have you thought things through? Wait, did something happen? Hope. Did something happen? Your fucking ghoul has just tried to kill me, you crazy bitch. That's what fucking happened. Kara. Calm yourself, for Christ's sakes. This is a baseless accusation. Hope. I know he's from Double Spiral. He's been working in your motherfucking company. Frostin says in the chat, is that nonchalant business attire? Yeah, I agree. That doesn't look like nonchalant business attire in any world that I've ever been in, but hey, whatever. To me, she looks like a London punk from the 1980s or something. So, yeah. Kara, come on, you know I can't be held responsible for independent actions of my subordinates. Why don't we just meet up and talk it over? Hope disconnects the call and instantly blocks Kara from contacting her. Hope, you corporate shithead, you make me sick. Tired, she turns her gaze to the dead ghoul. I'll dispose of him. Help me put him in my car. 30 seconds later, his body is laying on the back seat of the lavender-colored wreck. Hope. Okay. Good. You take a look at the scene of carnage in front of you. Hope. Every second we're here gets us closer to a serious masquerade violation. I'll have to exchange my Pandora-worthy masterpiece for the goods some other time. She gets behind the wheel and you follow her inside. Hope. Meet me in my haven when I let you know it's safe. For now, I need to dump this asshole somewhere, have my car fixed, and plan our counterattack. You guide Hope to your own haven. She drops you off, and before she leaves, she makes what's about to come perfectly clear. Hope. If we want to survive in this city, Kara Montgomery needs to die. She disappears into the traffic. You disappear into your place. Alright. So it's late. And we are going to need to rest because there isn't any time left of the night before dawn. So let's do that. We've been injured. We've been shot at. Do not appreciate it. We do have a lot of quests lined up now. It's almost 10 o'clock. So I'm thinking about wrapping this up. It's been lovely hanging with you guys for the past 2 hours, especially FrostTames, who is my Twitch chat stalker. I appreciate you being here, keeping me company. FrostTames says, well, that sure wasn't a boring night. No, it definitely wasn't. I think one thing is for sure, and that is that life, or unlife rather, will never be boring with hope in it. So I think that's where we're gonna leave off the story for now. And I will be back live streaming later this week. I'm thinking about live streaming on, I think it's Thursday, but I'm gonna check just to be sure. Right, no, I might have a meeting on Thursday. So I'm just going to have to see whenever it feels right, whenever I have time and energy, because I have a lot of things happening this week with a kickoff event tomorrow for the Cosplay Association that I helped start, and there's a party on Saturday that we've been invited to, and there's the season premiere of the CosCast on Sunday, and some other meetings that I might have to attend. So might not have the energy to actually play more this week, but I will try, and I will let you know in advance when I am going online. And so yeah, good night. Thanks for the bloody fun. Like FrostTime says in the chat, I got it. So yeah, love you guys. See you later, Fandorkables, and don't forget to miss our CosCast cosplay talk show season premiere on Sunday at 8 p.m. Central European time. Okay. Bye.